What if I told you that Vecna didn't create the Upside Down? What if he didn't even create the Mind Flayer? What if everything you think you know about Henry Creel is wrong, and the real villain has been orchestrating every single moment since 1943? Stay right here, because this gets dark. Everyone thinks Henry Creel became this all-powerful monster after 11 threw him into another dimension, that he shaped everything with his twisted mind, that he's the ultimate evil behind it all. But there's a major problem with that story. Henry's own memories don't line up with what actually happened, and when the Duffer Brothers confirmed that the Broadway play The First Shadow is official canon, everything changed, because that play reveals something we completely missed. Henry didn't gain his powers on his own. He wasn't born different. He was chosen, infected, used as a vessel, and the thing that chose him started planning these invasions decades before Henry was even born. So let's go back, way back, to where this nightmare really begins. World War II is raging. The US government is running secret experiments, desperate for any advantage. One project is called Project Rainbow. You might know it as the Philadelphia experiment. The goal sounds impossible. Teleport a naval ship using experimental technology. They fire up the equipment. The ship, the USS Eldridge, starts to vanish, but they don't teleport it across the ocean. They tear a hole straight through reality itself. The ship crashes into another dimension entirely. Dimension X. The crew finds themselves in an absolute nightmare. Red lightning tears through a dead sky. Barren ground. No water. No life. Just endless decay. And then the creatures arrive. Demogorgons. Every man dies in that alien wasteland. Every man except Captain Brenner. He survives, but particles from this dimension infect him, burrow into his cells, change something fundamental. When he makes it back to our world, he's obsessed. He can't stop thinking about what he saw, about the whispers in his head, about the calling from the other side. Captain Brenner has a son, Martin Brenner. This kid grows up listening to his father's stories about another world, about monsters that hunt in packs, about particles that move like they're aware. Most people would assume the old man lost his mind during the war, but Martin believes every word. The obsession passes from father to son like a disease you can't cure. Martin becomes a scientist specifically to finish what his father started. He recreates the experiments in Nevada during the 1950s, building equipment designed to punch through the dimensional barrier again, to reach Dimension X, to understand what's waiting on the other side. Then everything goes wrong. A staff member gets terrified and steals critical equipment, runs and buries it in a cave near Rachel, Nevada. There it sits for years, humming with interdimensional energy, waiting, until a curious boy stumbles across it. Henry Creel, just a kid. He finds this strange equipment and does what any curious child would do. He turns it on. In an instant, he's ripped into Dimension X, standing in that same wasteland where the USS Eldridge crew died, alone, terrified, and something ancient notices him. The Mind Flayer. This massive entity is made of shadow and malice. It's been existing in this dimension for an unknowable length of time. Ancient, beyond comprehension, intelligent in ways we can't understand. And now there's a vulnerable human child right in front of it. The Mind Flayer scans him, reads his trauma, his anger, his isolation, his need for control over a world that always felt wrong to him. And it recognizes something crucial. This child isn't just compatible with the infection, he's the perfect blueprint for it. Someone whose psychology naturally aligns with domination and structure. Someone who won't resist the hive mind but strengthen it. The Mind Flayer makes its choice. Particles surge forward and invade Henry's body. They rewrite his DNA, grant him telekinesis, telepathy, the power to kill with a thought. But these aren't gifts, they're chains. The Mind Flayer doesn't empower Henry. It claims ownership of him. It integrates him into its system like a living circuit board. Henry wasn't chosen at random. He was selected because his mind was already wired for exactly what the Mind Flayer needed. You thought Henry was born special, right? That's what Henry himself believes. But memories lie, especially when something else is living inside your head, rewriting your thoughts. Henry comes back changed, infected. He grows up believing these powers are his own, that he's in control. He kills his own family, becomes a monster. Hawkins' lab captures him, and he plays the long game, pretends to be helpful, studies the other psychic children, waits. In 1979, he reveals his true nature, tries to kill everyone, but 11 stops him, channels everything that she has, and blasts him through a wall. through reality itself. But nobody understood at the time. 11 didn't banish him to some random dimension. She sent him home, back to where the Mind Flayer was waiting. Listen carefully, because the geography matters. There aren't just two dimensions. There are three. Our world, Dimension X, where the Mind Flayer lives, and a third space in between called the Hellscape. Think of it like a barrier, a membrane keeping the dimensions separated. You need something powerful to tear through, a gate or a specific connection, like the one Henry carries inside him. When 11 throws Henry through that wall, he crashes into the Hellscape. Red lightning storms rage around him. Particles swarm his body. The atmosphere is toxic. It should kill him instantly. But his connection to Dimension X saves him. The Mind Flayer's particles recognize their host. Instead of destroying him, they complete the transformation. His body mutates. Flesh tears. Vines burst through his skin. He tries to scream, but the air isn't meant for human lungs, so the sound comes out twisted, like something else is speaking through him. He becomes Vecna. And now he can pass freely between worlds. He's the bridge, the weapon the Mind Flayer has been building for decades. Dimension X isn't just another place, it's an entire hostile ecosystem. Every demogorgon, every vine, every particle, they're all part of one massive hive mind, the Mind Flayer. This thing doesn't just control these monsters, it is these monsters, one consciousness spread across an entire dimension. And now it has Vecna, a puppet that can reach into our world. Open gates, spread the infection. Years pass. Vecna waits, grows stronger. Then, November 6th, 1983 happened. 11 is working for Hawkins' lab. Her mission is surveillance, spy on Russian communications. But Martin Brenner has a secret agenda. He's been searching for Henry, hoping 11's reach could somehow connect with him. That day, 11 makes contact. Not with Henry, with a demogorgon. The moment she touches it psychically, reality shatters. A gate tears open, but something else happens. The two dimensions overlap. Our world and Dimension X collide for a split second, and in that collision, a new space is created. The Upside Down. It's not Dimension X. It's not our world. It's both. A perfect snapshot of Hawkins captured at that exact moment. Frozen. Like someone hit pause on reality and made a corrupted copy. People wondered why the Upside Down doesn't move forward in time. Here's why. It's not a living timeline. It's a dimensional photograph, a glitched recording. When 11 opened that gate, the overlap captured Hawkins and preserved it, but it's not completely frozen. Every time a new gate opens, the Upside Down updates, takes in new information. It's recording our world, getting ready to replace it, and that's Vecna's strategy. He figured out something crucial. Trauma creates weak points in reality. When someone experiences deep pain, it generates a frequency, a leak in the dimensional barrier. That's why he targets Max, Chrissy, Fred, Patrick. He's using their suffering to puncture reality at a microscopic level. Every death creates a tiny gate, a connection point. When enough are linked together, they form something massive, a permanent tear. He's not invading Hawkins. He's overwriting it, replacing our world with the Upside Down, one death at a time. Now Nevada. When 11 goes there to regain her powers, that facility wasn't built there by accident. It sits on the exact weak point where Henry was first infected as a child. When 11's powers come back, she's reconnecting to the same frequency that created Vecna, the same channel, and the instant her mind touches it, Vecna feels it. They're both plugged into the same network now, the Mind Flayer's network. But here's what makes this moment so important. Henry and 11 aren't opposites. They're two outcomes of the same origin. Henry was infected accidentally as a child. 11 was created later through Martin Brenner's experiments trying to recreate that infection artificially. Both developed powers from the same source. Telekinesis, remote viewing, psychic projection, two branches of the same tree. But the crucial difference isn't in their abilities. It's what shaped them emotionally. Henry's infection magnified his resentment and need for control over a world that always felt wrong to him. And it recognizes something crucial. This child isn't just compatible with the infection, he's the perfect blueprint for it. Someone whose psychology naturally aligns with domination and structure. Someone who won't resist the hive mind, but strengthen it. The Mind Flayer is the real architect. It existed long before Henry. When that Navy ship crashed into its world in 1943, the Mind Flayer saw an opportunity, a pathway into our reality. So it infected Captain Brenner, planted obsession in his son, made sure the Nevada experiments would happen, guaranteed Henry would find that equipment, then waited for 11 to be born, to open gates, to create the Upside Down. Every single event across decades has been calculated. The Mind Flayer has been playing an impossibly long game, and it's almost won. Season 5 won't be fought in Hawkins, it'll be at the source, in Dimension X, in those red lightning storms where the Mind Flayer waits. 11 will have to enter that psychic field and sever the connection, kill the hive mind, destroy Dimension X entirely. But there's a cost. To unmake an entire dimension, 11 might have to become exactly what Vecna became, a force capable of erasing realities. The question isn't whether she can win, the question is whether she'll still be herself when it's over. What if Henry Creel was never the villain? What if he was just the first victim? What if every experiment, every death, every gate was manipulated by something ancient beyond measure? And what if killing Vecna won't stop anything? Because the real enemy is still waiting in Dimension X, wearing Henry's face, speaking with Henry's voice, but thinking with a mind that's been patient for longer than we can imagine? That's the real horror. We've been fighting the puppet this entire time, and the puppeteer? It's already 80 years ahead of us.